In the fast-paced world of today's marketplace, are you looking at your business and wondering, what will it take to get known and drive traffic? This is Your Business Matters Show, the place where your host, Kevin Yoon, shines the spotlight on industry leaders to discover the power of business matters, to share the insight that can positively impact your bottom line. Success is not about knowing your business matters. It is what you're doing with what you know. Turn up the sound and get ready for Your Business Matters Show. Here's your host, Kevin Yoon.
Welcome to show number 6 of Your Business Matters Show. My name is Kevin Yoon, of course, as the host, and I have an amazing guest today. And I'm going to dive right in because we're going to talk about the truth about marketing, and I don't want to waste 1 minute. She is known as the Chief Executive Schmoozer. So think about marketing for a second. Chief Executive Schmoozer. It's not your boring title. She's got an amazing title. So we're starting right off the bat. After getting her Master's of Business and Entrepreneurship and Technology from University of Waterloo, she's created Schmooz Media. Her passion for business and education stemmed from a belief that innovation, communication, and collaboration can impact positive change. Her and her team connect the dots between problems and solutions, delivering exceptional writing, graphics, design, communication for powerful marketing to their clients. Welcome, Zoe Share, to the show.
Thank you so much for having me today.
Now, I'm going to dive right in because you've got some amazing case studies, and I think just the case studies alone are enough to get people to understand marketing today with the way the economy is, the way the marketplace is. It's very different from how it used to be, and I think people with the old school mindset that goes, no, I'll do the same old, we'll just keep going. Like, this has to change and stop, and I know you've got some amazing solutions and how people come to you with their problems. So let's dive in with maybe that kind of that, what is the typical problem you get or you hear about and you go, all right, this is what we got to do?
Yeah, no problem. So I think what's really interesting for me is when a new client or a new prospective client comes to me and they say, Zoe, I really want to go viral. They're coming to us because they think we're a social media marketing company, which is exactly what we are, and they think our job is to help them go viral, and that viral means success. And that is just not necessarily true.
I like that. Okay, let's dive into that. What is really viral in your definition, and what should people really take away when they hear viral now in their head?
I think what people need to take away when they hear the word viral is to walk away with some questions for themselves. What does going viral actually mean for my business? So let's say you put out a video and it reaches 5 million people. And from those 5 million people, 5,000 of them go to your website and go to your shop or contact you with a request for services. Can your business actually handle going viral, so to speak? Or are you really looking for a different result from reaching people? So when I put it in those terms, people say, oh, I can only really handle 5 new inquiries, or I really only have enough inventory for 500 purchases. That really starts changing the story about what they think they need and what they really need to be successful in their marketing and their social media marketing campaigns.
All right. So from Schmooz Media perspective, like you say, hey, we're going to help out. Does somebody come to you and look for the total end-to-end solution? And is total end-to-end solution the only way to really handle a client effectively? Like, if I think of that total solution, people go end to end, right? They go, okay, I'm just going to start with you. You're going to get me all my new 17 clients. Like it's all on you, right? But it's not really, right? There's actually some chunks that you'll look at and go, hold on, before we go after your idea, that 17 or whatever that, like you said, 5 or 500.
Yeah, it's a really interesting question because sometimes people come to us, and some of the people who are listening today, you might be these people who think they think, okay, I need 50 people or I need 17 new people, like what Kevin is saying. And then as we start experimenting with social media and with a campaign, we start learning what works and what doesn't work, and starting to understand what a cost to acquire a new customer really is. So we go to a lot of new clients and say, in order for us to help you do better with your budget, what's your current cost of acquisition? How much does it currently cost you to get a new client a new customer, whatever it might be that you're looking for your business, a new newsletter subscriber, whatever it is that you're trying to achieve. And they say, well, I don't know. I did a $5,000 thing with this SEO guy, and then I did a Facebook ad for $50 every couple of months, and then I went to a trade show, and I guess my marketing budget last year was, $20,000, and I got 10 new clients. Okay, well, now we can start to figure out what your cost of acquisition is. How much of your time, money, and energy does it take to get you a new client? All those different marketing activities, whether they're outbound or inbound, become part of that analysis for us. So what we're trying to do is beat that. But a lot of our clients, we don't know what that cost of acquisition was, so we're starting from scratch.
I love it. And so here's the cool thing, because this is where companies, like if you're listening to this and you're saying, oh my God, I don't even know what my cost of acquisition is. Like that's the first, like before you do anything else, go look and see what it's costing you to get a client. Then from there, right? And then, so as now we think about that, what's the timeline that you provide? Like people expect instantaneous results, right? They go, well, it's social media. I'll just, hold on, pull out my phone. I'll do a Facebook tweet. I should start getting results. So you didn't get me results in a day. What's the expectation, or what do you guide your clients with to say, look, here's what you got to be expecting. Here's where timeline can work for you. And here's what we can do short term. Here's what we can do long term. Like maybe what fills those buckets?
I think this is a really challenging question for me to answer because everyone's businesses are so different.
Beautiful. I love that answer because it's so true, right?
Yeah. So it's really hard for me to answer because sometimes I feel like with my clients, I'm on like Dragon's Den or Shark Tank because they come to me and they're like, do you think it's a good idea? Do you think it's going to work? Do you think the target audience is going to respond? And I say, I think it's a great idea if I actually do. Here's what I'm not understanding. Here's what we need to clarify so that people understand that it's a good idea. Are you sure this is the right target audience? Sometimes there's obstacles in terms of what our expectations are and then what happens in reality. So I'll give you an example. We've had a client in the past where their goal was to get a certain amount of new customers. And I learned something from this, in a big way. And I really didn't think it was going to be a problem to get those new customers. What ended up happening, though, is our Facebook ads brought new people to the website enough that we assumed that they would convert to new customers. Once they were on the website, they left, they bounced, they disappeared. We were seeing a lot of new traffic, which means that the lead ads were working, the Facebook or Google lead ads were working, but once they got to the website, they bounced. So this client was very upset with us, and we said, unfortunately, now we've learned something that is going to cost you more money, and we don't want to be taking your money away, but what we've learned is they're coming and then they're leaving. So we have two options here. Either the wrong people are coming, or there's something wrong with your landing page. So here's what we can do in that situation. We can make a new landing page with a different call to action, a different look and feel, and do some A/B testing, maybe make 2 more landing pages and see which one helps to convert more, or we can try and target a different audience. It is going to take trial and error to figure it out. And what works for the first 6 months might not work for the next 6 months. People are changing. People are going to require a different call to action to pay attention. People get bored. Your website gets stale. I mean, my job is not easy.
Well, and so you bring up,
we love what we do, but it's tough.
Yeah, and so you bring up, this is a very important thing you bring up, and that is the fact that you found out that, okay, look, we got traffic, but it's not converting. Most of the time, business owners will go, I don't even know if I'm getting the right traffic. I don't even know if I'm getting traffic, right? So part of marketing today, and I think this is where people really have to understand, the data helps you make better decisions, right, to make the next best decision. Whereas years ago, they'd put an ad in the paper. Well, we just spent, we've been doing it. And somebody goes, well, just put more ads. We'll just put more
Yes.
ads, and eventually
Eventually someone will bite.
right. My uncle used to say it takes 20, 30 times for people to go. So you go, okay, you just keep spending. But you didn't test headline. You didn't test picture. You didn't test, like you said, all these things, like as simple as a landing page is, if it's the wrong color, picture, words, whatever, too many questions, people just go, I'm not doing this. And what's critical in marketing is knowing that it's an ongoing process, right? And that's what you guys do at Schmooz Media is you start saying, listen, let's become aware of the scenario. So back to my original question was, the small short-term result versus a long-term. One of the things that you've done, and you've said this really well, and that is we got to make sure we deliver. We got to make sure that, we actually get you some kind of outcome. Otherwise, why are you bringing us on board? So you put an expectation out there, right, for your clients. And you'll say, yeah, okay, in 6 months, we should get this, right? And you have something you're aiming for, right?
Yes.
But you educate, and this is what I love, is you educate the client. Now, I'm going to digress for a second because when we were talking, you used to be a teacher, and I'll let you talk about your past in a second, right, teacher? But you sat in Waterloo with a bunch of, when you were doing masters and they had all these great ideas about companies, and you're like, wait a second, we got to come back to basics on I remember that conversation kind of quick, and I wanted you to dive in because so many people get caught up in the technology or in the thing, right? Hey, I make the best widget. This is like everybody wants it, and you're like, hold on a second. So I'm going to kind of turn it over to you to kind of talk a little bit of your past and kind of how that session kind of went, where it was like, oh man, there's aha moments here that have to go on in people's heads.
Thanks, Kevin. So, as you mentioned, I used to be a kindergarten teacher. So the long and the short of my story is that for as long as I can remember, I was going to be a teacher. Grade 4, autobiography assignment, what are you going to be when you grow up? I was going to be a teacher. And when teaching wasn't bringing me joy and made me feel panic, I decided to go back and do my master's in business, entrepreneurship, and technology. And I was the only person in that class who had come from an English background. I have an English degree and an education background. Everyone else in the program was an engineer or a business undergrad, and I had never taken a business course ever in my life. I think I went into the program, hoping to learn how to walk the walk and talk the talk and make a transition to a different career, which I didn't know what that was yet. In my heart of hearts, I was like, maybe I'll open a tutoring company or something. And business school can help me transition to that dream. And throughout the year, what ended up happening was people kept coming to me, Zoe, you're so nice. Can you edit this for me and make it sound nice? Can you email this venture capitalist for me? Can you help me pitch so people can understand me? And what kept standing out to me over and over again was how many people had these brilliant ideas, but they were just ideas and they weren't taking action. They weren't getting out on the street to talk to people and say, do you think you'd like this? And does this idea make sense to you? And just putting themselves out there and being real about their passion. And what I quickly learned is that, as difficult as I may have found it to stand up in front of 4-year-olds, standing up in front of 20, 40-year-olds to pitch an idea that someone loved and was passionate about was pretty simple, but you had to make it simple. You had to make it so that kindergarten age students could understand it. No one wants to have to squint their eyes trying to figure out what you're talking about. They just want to understand what's in it for them, why should they care, and if it's genuinely something they're passionate about, the rest of the work, it's not as difficult because it's real, it's authentic. And I really found my place in Waterloo. And at the end of the school year, a master's program, I said to people, hey, I've been helping you with all this communication stuff, talking to people on your Facebook for you. And do you want to pay me to keep doing it? That was the beginning of my company. And so what I do now and what my team does now is keep those relationships and that simplicity at the core and saying, we're not trying to be fancy pants over here. We're trying to hear what your passion is and hear what your goals are and help you reach those goals and help you explain that passion in a way that is authentic but also accessible.
Yeah. I love it. And that story really resonates with the fact of keeping it simple. So if you're, as a small business owner, you're listening to this, or a small business owner, and they're working their business, and they're trying to look at the large, big corporations, go, man, my marketing, they're trying to compete with that big $65 million marketing budget, right? And it's like, stop. And what you just described was bring it down to that kind of kindergarten level. Why? Because that's how we all talk. Like even the corporate world, the big business, still wants to go, how do we keep it simple?
Like
right?
just jargon is just jargon. Stuff that no one really understands. I have all these letters after my name, and I still don't know what some of those jargon terms mean. And I just say, yeah, like get people who are influential to like your post.
Yep.
That's an influencer campaign, everybody. Woohoo! Like,
awesome.
Let's
I love
just keep it simple. It's just people helping other people in a local economy rather than a larger economy, and that's what small businesses need to think about is local economies and economies of scale. And oh gosh, I get so into this stuff. I could go on and on.
Cool. So let's do this. Let's take like maybe one or two key things as takeaways that somebody can go, I can go apply this in my business right now. And off the top was a big one, which was what's the cost of acquisition? So maybe like what would be like one or two more small things to go, look, you can start this today and you'll start seeing a change in your marketing. Even if it's psychological change. In other words, how you look at marketing. What would you say? One or two key things?
So a big one goes back to something we talked about earlier, which is analytics. If your website doesn't have Google Analytics right now, please go get it. It should take about half an hour or 45 minutes for a reasonable web developer or agency to help you connect it, if not a virtual assistant or someone else that you know that's technologically inclined. Google Analytics opens the world for a small business owner to understand what their efforts on social media are actually doing for them. And the place to look in terms of social media, because Google Analytics has a ton of information, is to go to the social overview section. You can actually see what traffic comes to your website from Facebook, from Instagram, from LinkedIn. Also, which landing pages people are coming to from Facebook, from LinkedIn, from Instagram, whatever it is that you're using as a social media platform. To understand that when you actually go and post a blog on your Instagram and say link in bio and they click on it and then they come on your website, to know that that's actually doing something for you helps you to understand that it's worth your time to keep doing those types of activities. Same goes for looking at the part that says direct searches or organic searches. You really start to understand how people are finding you through Google Analytics. That knowledge is power.
Okay, so here's another one. I was going to say, here's another one. What if, they look and go, Zoe, that's great, but I'm not really online. I'm the non-online type of person.
Yeah.
The world to me is all online. We're online and offline. It's like it's becoming blurred. It's not like one or the other. The phone is now a part of life. It's not, this is a tool, right? This is part of my life. I mean, kids, adults, doesn't matter, right? So what would you say for people like that who go, Zoe, I'm not really much online. What kind of things? Because you've done some amazing things that you've integrated online for the non-traditional online business.
Yeah, I mean, I think the truth of the matter is that whether you're doing traditional marketing or social media marketing or PR, being a good person and following through never goes bad. So do what you say you're going to do. Follow up. If it's not an email and it's a phone call, pick up the phone and do it. I'm a millennial. I still pick up the phone. I still write handwritten notes. I run a social media marketing agency. You can be all the different things that you want to be as a business owner and be successful at them as long as you're true to the type of person you are. And if you're the type of person who would prefer to send a coffee card and a thank you note handwritten, then that's what you should do. And it can be very effective on its own. You don't need to do everything. You need to do what feels right for you as an owner and what also gets you results.
Love it. Love it. On that, we're going to end the show. This is great. Zoe, where can people find out more about you?
You can check us out on on schmooz.ca, schmooz.ca. We have an Instagram at Schmooz Media, Facebook, Twitter, same handle at Schmooz Media. But you can always reach out to me, Zoe, Zoe, at Schmooz, schmooz.ca. All my information's on there. Just type in Zoe Share on Google and I'll pop right up.
Right on. I love it. On that note, thanks so much for today. And, marketing today is not an easy thing. What Zoe talked about right off the top was really getting to know who you are, what you do, and start looking inside. Don't even make any decisions to buy anything. Don't get services. Just go, what's it costing you to get a client right now? Once you understand that, then you can say, hey, now we can take first steps. And I encourage you to call Zoe and talk to her, because very few people can do what she does, how she does it, and her team is phenomenal. And with that, Zoe, thanks for joining me today. It was awesome.
Thanks, Kevin. Thanks for having me. Bye, everybody.
Have a great day, everyone. Thanks again for listening to Your Business Matters Show.